Grinder. So I'm sure some of you are gonna say, I told you so, I saw this one coming. But yes, I caved and I returned to GRINDR a few months ago. Back in December, there was this event called Art Basel. It's this huge art festival, art fair, whatever you wanna call it, that happens once a year in Miami. And it's a very well-known event. It pulls in people come here for this event from all over the world. So I had a moment of weakness and I was like, I wanna see who's around. Are there interesting guys around visiting? Because it pulls in a somewhat more intellectual crowd and like cultured crowd than some of the other events that Miami will draw in, like, you know, their music festivals that are like, that brings a very different crowd, right? So anyway, I've had the app on since then, because since then, every like few weeks, somebody really interesting will be on GRINDR and we'll start talking and we'll connect. And it's nice to feel that, you know, it's nice to feel that connection and that spark. That's also the issue with these apps, because then you're always kind of chasing that high. And naturally, because this is such a transient city where I live, people are always visiting from out of town and it's this revolving door. So I actually connected with somebody recently. I've connected with a few different guys, but it's always complicated because they're just visiting, right? So it's like, it's kind of like it fulfills you, it stimulates you for those few days or that week, and then on to the next. The issue with the local community here, or really just GRINDR in general, as you guys know, or really dating apps in general, is that most of the time is spent with nonsense, right? Like, it attracts a really trashy crowd, GRINDR, here in Miami in particular. A lot of like drug use and promiscuous, like what I would consider dangerous, this like fast food mindset. So that's what I want to talk about during this video. Over the past probably year or so, I've noticed more and more guys on this app having the hashtag BB, which stands for bareback. So basically they're promoting unsafe sex with strangers. They're saying, I am looking to have unsafe sex. I find that so crazy to not only, you know, have casual, unsafe, unprotected sex with total strangers, but to promote that, like to have that on your profile. It's like, what kind of guys do you think you're gonna attract? You're gonna attract guys who are just as risky with their lifestyle. And nowadays, because of PrEP and modern medicine, I think people just don't have the same fear they used to about STDs in general, but obviously specifically HIV and AIDS. But for me, even beyond the STDs you're exposing yourself to, it's like, if you're willingly like inviting people into your life who have, again, this fast food mindset and are very impulsive and like reckless, that attracts a different kind of, like, you're attracting a lot of different things at once. It's not just the risk of STDs, it's drug use, people who aren't necessarily super careful with their decision making, and it's a crazy world out there. Like, maybe I'm too old school, too traditional, I don't know. But it's shocking to me here in Miami how many guys I see with the BB label. And sometimes these guys will reach out to me. And if I hadn't seen that, I would have been interested. Do we really want to be involved with this facet of the community, the gay community? And I don't. Like, I don't want to expose myself to that, just if nothing else, for the sanctity of my health. At the same time, I feel like when I'm completely off these apps, I'm completely disconnected. Like, I don't meet guys out and about. I wish I did, I wish I could. I'm trying to lean more, now that I'm in my 30s, I'm trying to lean more into, you know, eye contact, body language, and trying to pick up on that. But I find it rare and difficult. Like, I find it rare that a guy is clearly showing interest in me beyond an app. And I don't really go to gay bars anymore. Same kind of thing. I just feel like it tends to be a very trashy environment. And so I go through this constant process that I think, I'm assuming most gay guys go through, really most people who use apps in general, dating apps, hookup apps, where you're like, is the 99% of headaches worth that 1% of maybe, just maybe, you'll meet somebody worth your time who's actually here to stay and isn't just traveling or in transit in your city? I'm actually kind of casually dating somebody right now. And I say casually because he's here, again, short term, he's here basically like for a season, but he's a great normal guy And he was telling me that he's kind of new to exploring his sexuality with an attraction to guys. He's always dated women in the past. And he was saying that it took him a really long time to really explore this because he just thought he didn't relate to the gay culture and gay community. Because in his mind, gay culture, gay community is these guys who are living life in the fast lane on Grindr or out at the gay bar, like getting wasted at 3 a.m. looking for somebody to hook up with, or, you know, this like image of guys on Molly, right, on drugs, on like gay pride floats, waving rainbow flags in their Speedos. Like in his mind, that's what the gay image was, and he never connected to it. So he just thought, okay, maybe this is just an interest or a fetish or a curiosity, but I'm not really gay. So that's really sad, right? That somebody would question their identity based on all that they've been exposed to. And so in a weird way, that's something that does draw me into Grindr, because there are guys on there who are totally normal guys, sort of just lurking in the shadows because they don't relate to that world. So this is where I am with Grindr right now. And I've already told myself that I can't stay on it for too long again because of those typical headaches of people ghosting, people sending mixed signals, people being rude, and then the sort of scarier elements of how precarious people are. But also, again, it's painful for me living in this transient city when I meet somebody and I click and there's a connection, and just like that, they're gone because they were here just for a weekend and they live in another country, or they live on the other side of the States. So, you know, it's difficult. It's like, do you want to just make yourself less sensitive to those sort of headaches? Or is it better to just completely disconnect, disengage, and then let things fall into place if they happen,